We have a local NFL story in our lives here.
Oh, we do. What's our local NFL? I can't wait to hear. Are we getting an NFL team? Is the Gridiron Project happening right now?
Gridiron Project.
Is that what you're telling me?
Please abandon baseball. Please.
What are we
Is the football
doing?
stadium fit by the Ross Island?
We can fit one down there.
Could we?
We'll fit one down there. Yeah.
It'd be cozy.
We haven't even talked about the Rays don't have a stadium. They're going to have to play at a spring training
Yeah, they got to
facility.
figure
I don't
out
know what they're gonna
if
do.
they're going to play it at spring training.
Why would you also spend money to fix that place
not
instead
going
of
to.
just building a new?
They're not going to.
Yeah, they've officially announced that.
I don't know if they officially announced it, but there's a lot of intel on the ground that's going to cost $55 million, and they're not wanting to play there.
They're going
so
to tear
why
that
would
thing
they
down
do
in
it?
5 years
Yeah.
anyways. That makes no sense.
No, we have a local NFL story. Do you even know what I'm teasing, Swigert?
No,
'Cause
I
he
have no
does.
clue what
Yeah,
you're
I know.
teasing.
Okay, that's fine.
I was sort of out of it yesterday.
To be honest with you, I may unfairly put you in a category in my mind where I don't think you see a lot of what we read. And that's not like a shot at you. You watch all the stuff. So you see stuff that we don't see. So that's kind of in our face. There was a story yesterday from Jeremy Fowler of ESPN.com.
Never heard of him. Who's this bum?
Followed me on Twitter once. I never followed him back.
Did he really? Jeremy Fowler did?
Yeah.
Some random story.
He
Regretting
DM'd
that.
me too.
Yeah.
And I
Is he
just
trying to get on the show? Is this before Jeremy Fowler
This
made
is
it
when I
big
was
at
at
ESPN?
Comcast.
Ah.
And he saw who I was and he followed me and DM'd me and I
Wanted that inside note on Oregon State draft prospects, maybe?
think he was covering the Steelers or something, and I was like,
Ah.
who cares about this guy? And then went to ESPN, and here I am still in Portland. No, but Jeremy Fowler's a really good national writer for ESPN. Him and Graziano wrote this insider story, basically all these observations. And one of the observations that Fowler reports, he talked to an exec that he says he trusts dearly. Okay, there's a national football reporter saying, I trust this person very dearly. Saying a name to keep an eye on in the NFL world, Dan Lanning. Says he's got a real Dan Campbell vibe to him.
That's my guy.
He knows how to command a room. He's young. He's bright. He understands things. And they're not saying that he's linked to a specific job. It's just that looming in the offseason when all these bums get fired, keep an eye on the NFL circling in Eugene, Oregon, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not going to happen. Oregon's a better job than the NFL. You're an idiot. Who wouldn't want to be the head coach of the Ducks over the Dallas Cowboys?
That's
you
a great
moron.
poll question.
Let's move on to the next subject. Nothing to talk about
Better
here.
poll question. Better job, Ducks or
Ducks
the
and
NFL?
And then, talk about the demographics of the audience. That will tell you how many Duck fans there are and how many non-Duck fans there
I
are.
will say this, at least for now, I think Dan Lanning enjoys the college game and atmosphere and lifestyle more than the NFL would be appealing to him from a lifestyle standpoint. Now, at some point down the road, would he like if he's able to deliver to Duck fans what nobody else has delivered in its history, then does he want a new challenge? Because he's also a guy that's motivated by the challenge very much. But for now, I feel like he appreciates the college atmosphere, the college-age kids and players more than the appeal of the NFL day-to-day.
Yeah, I have no clue what motivates him. I have no clue what his desires are behind the scenes. He said all the right things over
What
the
has
years.
he said publicly?
He said all the right things publicly. I want to be here. I want to be the all-time winningest coach. I just have reached a point as a fan where, do I think Dan Lanning's going to go to the NFL this offseason? No. I would not bet money on it. But I've also reached a point for two things. One, I will never say never to anything ever again because these are college coaches and they
knows
leave
if he gets
all
an
the
offer
time.
He can't refuse.
Yes, if the Dallas Cowboys offer him the head coaching job, like
I was going to say the Cowboys go,
right,
like $15 million a year. Here you go.
You never say no, right? But I've long maintained that I don't have any fear left of Dan Lanning leaving for another college job. I don't even really care what job it is. I think he has proven that he has everything he needs. He's got the number one team in the country.
He does.
He's recruiting
number one in the Big Ten.
Number one in the Big Ten. He's recruiting at a high level. Like, why would you go start over or have to replace somebody or do? I have zero fear of him leaving for another college job at this point. I've long maintained if there's ever that fear in the back of my mind, it's this. It's the NFL coming, Colin, because it's just a different level of challenge. So do I think it's going to happen in the short term? No. But is this something that you have to keep an eye on long term? Absolutely, man. I don't know how long it's going to take him, but at some point he might get a wandering eye and say, I want to go try my skills at the highest level.
I don't know if this is something he gets asked in an interview on our station or at a press conference.
He will not be on today, I'm imagining, because they're traveling to Wisconsin. today.
So will he be on tomorrow?
I
Because
don't.
he wasn't on last week. Or 2 weeks ago, he wasn't on.
When they travel, I don't think they get him.
Oh, really? I thought
I
they
don't
had
think so.
prior to the Michigan game.
I don't know.
Because they had him early on the Purdue game. They had him Wednesday.
Yeah,
They didn't travel.
I think they did one where they bumped it to Friday.
Okay, so they have him Friday this week?
I have not
We
seen
don't get
any
emails.
correspondence as to.
We don't communicate internally on
No.
some of this stuff,
No,
so
I
I'm
don't-
kind of
no.
guessing on air.
Yeah.
But if he is on this week, I don't know if they throw that out. He is going to say the right thing. He's going to turn it down. He's going to shoot it down. This isn't a segment to me, Dirt. I'm not trying to do this to like poke you and go, is he leaving this offseason? That's not what this is about. I just think it's interesting that his name, I'm more fascinated by, I saw this on some Duck Twitter stuff yesterday, and I it's hard for me to agree with it because I'm doing this job, but the coverage of Oregon as a number one team in the country, is it the same as fill in the blank number one teams in the country in the past? Ohio State, Bama, Georgia.
What do you mean? Is it the same? Like,
Do
are they
you
getting
feel
the
like
same
Oregon
level of
is
love?
getting the same level of coverage as the number one team in the country who has
No.
been in that slot for what, 4 weeks now?
No, I don't think they are.
I don't
Okay.
think they're getting the same level as when Chip had him up there in the
I don't either.
top couple.
And I'm
of-
not saying a Beaver fan and
That's
Husky
interesting.
fans going to hear this and say, well, ridiculous. Well, yeah, on this station, it's different. What I'm saying is
nationally. Yeah.
And so, like, I'm just kind of fascinated by that
Yeah.
in general. And then also,
I
I just
think
think
the
it's
other-
interesting that he has emerged now, that he's on the radar. And I don't want to do a segment of, is he going to leave this year? That's kind of pointless to me. It's more just how we view him in just such a short term as a coach, where it's like, is this the guy? I don't really know much. Oh, my God, he's recruiting. Oh, my God, he's really Now he's winning 10 games. Oh, my God. And now here they are number one in year 3. And it's like the NFL. The antennas have gone up.
Yeah, I think on the topic of them not getting the coverage nationally, maybe as some of the others, I think one of the things that hurts is that there's not a debate over who the number one team in the country is. Like, I think that adds to the discourse and the conversation. When the rankings come out, we can, like, who's going to be number 4? Who's number 3?
Yeah, but when Georgia and Bama are number 1, they're not
just think-
debatable, but they do
well,
get a lot of
they've also won
coverage.
multiple national championships, and it's a
Okay.
dynasty,
No.
and it's an all-time great head coach, and that goes with it. I think if there were another, like if Texas was still undefeated right now, and there was like, well, who would you have number 1? Would it be Oregon or would it be Texas? Who has the better resume? Who's got the better win? I think that would lead to a bigger discourse around them. It's almost a foregone conclusion. We all know who the number one team's going to be. If they win again this weekend, they'll be the number one team again next week. Like, they're not going anywhere. Everybody else around them has essentially lost. He's an absolute rock star, man. I felt this
He
way
is.
for 2.5, 3 years. Whether they win a national championship this year or not, what he's done, the life that he has breathed back into that program, where he has gotten them in such a short amount of time, despite losing some heartbreaking games over the last 2 years, he is an absolute rising star in this industry. And it's very exciting that he's the head coach of your team. I also, this time of year, get to the point where you're just almost waiting for, like, it's like you're into Green Day recently. It's like the Boulevard of Broken Dreams. Like,
Wake me
where
up.
where is it? Where is my broken dream, and how does it come out? Is it a game in Wisconsin this weekend, or is it a Jeremy Fowler story that all of a sudden he's the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys? Because I saw this yesterday and I just thought, okay, here we go.
Damn
right,
it.
10-0, number 1. Can't have anything nice. Fine, great.
Well,
This is wonderful.
Back
Broke
to
my
the
heart.
coverage issue. The other thing that's different is ESPN is now the exclusive SEC partner, and they've ditched pretty much everybody else.
Well, the Big Ten is an NBC Fox thing. It's
Yes,
kind of
it
is.
it's a budding rivalry network thing too. So I'm not saying that I'm surprised
Because
that they're
I
not getting Bama, Georgia
Yeah.
coverage. It's just interesting. They're number 1. They've been there for a month. They beat Ohio State, and you're not wrong. We love to debate the fringe stuff of this, but there is no doubt Texas, Georgia, Bama, and you can say lifelong blue bloods of the sport, ESPN, all of that stuff is not wrong. I would make a very easy argument, and it's not even an argument, it's a fact. Since 2000 and fill in the blank, 7, 8, this is a blue blood of that sport. They've been to 2 national championships. Even in their down years, they're winning 9 games. They're winning Rose Bowls. It's just like, you can give me the whole tradition of the sport stuff. it's kind of a moot point. They have earned the right to be talked about as much as any of those other programs in the last 15 years.
I think this was leaked by Jed Fish. He's tired of getting shoved in a locker and having his recruits stolen. He's leaking this. He's going to go to the NFL, try and get some of those kids to waffle on their commitments in the next few weeks.
I do feel bad. We've not talked about the Huskies or the Cougars at all this week.